Hi everyone, I think I'm live. I'm going to try to record this, I guess. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Okay. Get back in Facebook so I can see the comments if there are any. All right, here we are. So, welcome. What if the love that you were taught to give everyone else is actually the love that you've been starving for your entire life? Yeah. Let me try that again. What if the love that you have been taught to give others is actually the love you've been starving for your entire life? Hi, my name is Kathy Jackson. I am a self-empowerment coach and a spiritual healer, as well as an empath. So I allow spirit to guide me to uncover and heal deeply rooted patterns of codependency that keep you disempowered. So I want to tell you a little bit about my life and what I've overcome. And if I were to put a title on it, I would say at this point, against all odds. In fact, from the very beginning, my life was in jeopardy. And the reason for that is that my father actually wanted me to be aborted. And obviously my mother chose something else, because here I am. So I did grow up in a fairly toxic, dysfunctional family where emotions were not really embraced. They were very shamed, actually. My father was very emotionally unavailable. My mother was definitely codependent. I was the oldest, and I was deemed the family scapegoat. So basically all of the family problems were kind of dumped in my lap. And so, welcome Loretta and Janet. And so it was my job to uncover all of that eventually. But so the shaming that I had was being told I was too emotional, I was being selfish, and of course this created this walled off part of myself. I had to, kind of squelch my own emotions, and that caused depression and a feeling of powerlessness. So eventually I had gotten married. I married two men that were very much like my father, very emotionally unavailable, but also abusive. And so I had to process through that and go through two divorces, which is, definitely a grieving period for sure. I also was raised in a very restrictive religion, and some actually call it a cult. And so it was a process of leaving that was very hard because I based my whole reality on that. And so deprogramming and reprogramming from that was a big endeavor. So I've spent a lot of years doing a lot of personal healing and transformational work. I've used several modalities such as emotional freedom technique or tapping, chakra work, A big one that I really delved into was access consciousness, which was the bars process was a defragging of the brain. And I learned some really great techniques to do some verbal processing to get to some deeper layers of stuck energy and emotion. I've also had many spiritual activations, which has increased my intuitive gifts and my ability to help people. So that's a little bit about my history. And what I wanted to do today is bring a little more light to the whole subject of codependency. So after, a lot of years of healing and transformational work, it wasn't until recently that I was really confronted with a situation that highlighted the fact that I still was sacrificing myself and giving my power away, and that was in my relationship with my daughter. And so I was aware of some of that, but then there was an incident that happened. So one day, my daughter shows up at my house, and she has her phone in hand. She puts it in my face and says, "Watch this video, because this proves that you are a narcissist." And I was kind of shocked and surprised, and I was like, "What? No, I'm not." And I refused to watch the video, but subsequently she decides that she needs a break from me again. So she's done this multiple times over the years, where she would just lose her appreciation for me and push me away and not want to have anything to do with me. So this has been a very painful occurrence in our lives. So the fact that she accused me of being a narcissist, I was like, thinking, well, like most people, well, a narcissist, what is that? I mean, I guess it's just a really selfish person, And so I decided to do the research. And in doing my research, I found out there's obviously a spectrum of narcissism, from covert to overt. And so as I was reading about the different traits, I was like, oh my God, this sounds like her, the covert. Because, overt is very in your face, you know you're being abused. But the covert is just so much more subtle and insidious, but very damaging because it takes you longer to recognize it. And so the recognition takes longer, so therefore there's longer time for you to be damaged. So recognizing that was very pivotal for me. It was eye-opening, it was clarifying, but very, very painful. And I was like, well, she's pushing me away. I'm actually having to detach and step back from my relationship with her for my own well-being. And in that process, I had to go to some deeper levels of pain that I had to feel and release and process. And it was in that process that I really got to learn more about codependency and how I was shrinking myself to stay in her life, and it's because I wanted to have access to the granddaughters, really. That was the biggest thing. But it wasn't allowing me to grow. Staying in that relationship was not allowing me to grow, and I could not step into my my purpose. So let me just take a moment to see what people are saying here. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That sounds so painful. I'm so sorry for you. I'm here. You look so beautiful. I love you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you, Blanchelica and Loretta and Janet. And Yeah, so that was so in stepping back from that relationship, it's allowed me to have the space to tune in and hear my own voice without her input. So that's been a huge advantage of the separation, even though it's still very hard and very painful to go through. But yes, I was still very much sacrificing myself in order to be in the relationship. So today I wanted to bring some light to what codependency is, because I think that in general, if you're not familiar with the subject, you may tend to think, well, it's when you're connected to someone who's an addict, you know. And while that can be the case, recognizing also that the codependent is also an addict. They're just addicted to the person. And so I wanted to go over some points about what codependency is and how it is quietly stealing your power. So when it comes to relationships, codependents are usually those that are over-functioning in the relationship. They take on the responsibility of the emotional well-being of the relationship, or the responsibility of all of it. They put the needs of the other person ahead of their own. They seek validation at the cost of their own truth. And they also lose connection to their own needs and their own boundaries. And actually, a lot of codependents will not really have boundaries at all. So they have to learn that. Some signs of codependency would be a chronic need to people please. Always, making sure everybody else is happy, not concerned about themselves. Fear of conflict. In other words, they want to avoid conflict at all cost. Fear of abandonment. Guilt or anxiety when trying to put yourself first. Also, an inability to be alone. Always needed to be in a relationship. Hard for them to be on their own. So we know that a lot of these patterns are always, we learn this in childhood. That's where we learn it. That's where the roots are. So whether you were emotionally neglected or shamed or scapegoated or any other traumas of your childhood can be the cause or the root cause of the pattern of codependency. So what is it costing you? A lot. So some things you may notice that it's costing you is exhaustion. You're tired a lot. You also have resentment because you tend to take care of everyone else's needs but your own. Low self-esteem or low self-worth. You also have trouble trusting yourself. You feel disconnected from your intuition and purpose, and you tend to attract toxic relationships where you're the overgiver. You attract controlling, manipulative, or unavailable partners. The other thing is you never truly feel seen or heard in a relationship or safe. Let me just take a sip here. So, it doesn't just cost you your peace. It costs you your power. The power to create. And the power to create the life that you deserve. The best possible life for yourself. And awareness is the start. Coming into awareness is a good start. But in order to heal, We need to get to the root cause of what has caused your codependency in the first place. Whether it's unconscious beliefs such as I'm not enough unless I'm needed. A lot of women feel that, I think. All those things have to be uncovered and transformed. So it's not just about doing mindset work. It's a deep heart, body, and soul healing that needs to take place. So for me, in my sessions, what I do is, with the help of spirit, I help you to get to those deeper layers. I help you to heal the inner child, release unconscious beliefs, and ultimately reclaim your power. This can open the door for you to have your own higher guidance again. You can feel connected to your heart, connected to source, connected to your higher self. Reconnection. So you don't need more strategies. You need reconnection. Reconnection to yourself and to God. So it's a journey, and I've walked through it, and I know the difficulties, and I know the steps, and I am here to help. If any of this resonates with you and you're ready to stop abandoning yourself in order to be loved or accepted, I do provide one-on-one coaching where I provide a safe container, safe space for you to feel seen and heard. And we can go into uprooting the disempowering patterns that keep you stuck in codependency. So let's see if we have any more questions in the chat. And let me look on my phone here too. I don't know if I can see it. Oh, there I am. Let's see. Are you the oldest child? Yes, I am. Thank you. You look fantastic. I was raised in the same atmosphere and religious doctrine. Yeah. I mean, I hesitate to go into what that religion is. That would be a whole other wormhole. And yeah. I mean, I had some definite benefits from the religion. You know, it kept me out of some trouble. But yeah, it cost me my relationship with my parents. Yeah, so the pattern was there. And the pattern was there in my family lineage. And I also have done a lot of processing, clearing of the ancestral patterning. I'm a curse breaker, ancestral curse breaker. So yeah, I go to some really deep levels, very deep. What else was I going to say here? And codependency is not your identity. It's a wound, and wounds can be healed with the right tools, with love, and with spirit. So you were not born to shrink, to be loved. You were born to expand in love, and that starts with yourself. You have to learn how to love yourself first. Let me see, anything else here? So my name is Kathy Jackson, self-empowerment coach and healer. I'm here to help you reclaim your power. I invite you to schedule a free call, discovery call with me. I'll post the calendar link underneath the video. Actually, I think it's in the links already. And just know that you are worth it. And going through the process of healing codependency is challenging, but it's rewarding. And to feel your power and your authentic voice and your authenticity is just priceless. priceless. I've done it, and you can do it too. So I invite you to get on a call with me, and we can talk about what we can do to transform your patterning that's keeping you disempowered. Yeah, so it is a process of uncovering all of the messaging, all of the the wrong messaging that those voices that keep you in your head. And okay, so one of the questions is, how long have you been on this healing journey? So I started becoming aware of the depression and some codependency tendencies probably in my 30s, but it wasn't until about 15 years ago when I started my awakening journey, and that was when it really kicked off, and started finding a lot of healers and spiritual teachers to learn and grow from, and process through a lot of the toxicity that I was taught. And let's see, another comment. I think that my concern would be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Laugh out loud. Not sure. Okay, I had a lot of positive experience too. How do you sort it all out? Well, a lot of times it's I've done so much research on it, because it's oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to bring out that I kind of missed, is what came out of this incident with my daughter and the separation is really more clarity on what my purpose is and what I'm here to do, and I feel like I am here to champion and support other women who struggle with codependency and may not even realize that they are codependent, because a lot of these things are just kind of accepted as who they are, right? It's just who I am, but there is a way to work through it all, and it's a process. There's lots of different steps to it that need to uncover the toxic emotions, the toxic energies that are stuck in your body and your mind and your emotions. But I can help you walk through that. Teach you tools and guidance for whatever is coming up for you. How do you know when you are no longer codependent? I think it's like any recovery process. So we hear about recovering from, like alcoholism or drug addiction and that kind of stuff. I think codependency is fairly similar. That's why I kind of call myself the recovering codependent, because it's an endeavor that you will. You can get over the biggest part of it, yes, but it's always going to be somewhat of a challenge, It's like being in a lifelong recovery program. But I think I've done it, but the true test is getting into another relationship. That's the true test, right? Yeah. So it's a day-to-day process, and you always choose. So what the challenge is choosing you above everyone else. That's the biggest challenge, because in this reality, that's not acceptable. We're taught to put everyone else ahead of us, put others, God, and then ourselves last. And that's so backwards. But, that's how we were trained. My dad would say, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry for. Oh gosh, yeah, I got that message too. Or he would say, after laughing comes crying all the time. Like never be laughing, never have joy. I mean, goodness gracious. Or my parents would say, yeah, we were raised in the Depression and we're still depressed. Like, oh great. Oh my goodness, yeah. But it's a challenge to choose you, and it shouldn't be, but it is, because there's always people pulling on you, always people wanting to be the top priority, and that's one thing I had to, tell my daughter is that she can't dictate that to me, like I have to choose me now. I've sacrificed enough of my life, and I have to choose me. And yeah, and that's empowering. And self-empowerment is not a bad thing. You have more to give because you've given to yourself. You've filled your own cup, and therefore you have more to give to others. You can't give from an empty cup. If you're constantly an over-giver and you don't ever replenish, you don't ever have anybody replenishing you, you have to replenish yourself. You have to learn how to give to yourself. You have to learn how to reparent yourself. All of those things are skills that you can learn. And yeah, it's important. It's important. And we need more self-empowered, authentic people in this world, because we live in a world that's very superficial and very fake. In fact, that's probably how my relationship with my daughter got upended. And people who still have a lot of internal healing work to do wear masks. They wear masks because they have to hide. They have to hide who they really are because it's scary. It's not something they want disclosed to the public. So they tend to be on the fake side, which is definitely not me. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I am complete unless there's any other questions. I cannot believe it's gone so quickly. Yeah, maybe I can go over some of the benefits of, healing codependency. You just have more joy and more abundance, more inner peace, more self-confidence, deeper, healthier relationships, and the ability to be your authentic self. So, yeah, it is definitely worth it. And so, yeah, I really want to call attention to codependency because I think there's a lot more people that are affected by it than realize that they are, and we need more empowered people on the planet, for sure. Any other questions that we can answer? And yeah, so definitely reach out to me or definitely sign up for the discovery call. We'll go over some other things and how we can get to the root of what caused your codependency, and not just codependency. I mean, we can work on other traumatic experiences, and it doesn't necessarily have to be codependency. It just seems to be a very significant topic that I'm very familiar with. So I appreciate all of you joining me, Janet and Loretta and Blangelica and whoever else showed up on the call. Yeah, and I am here to support and help those who are ready to make the change and clear away some of this toxic energy that's keeping you disempowered. So appreciate all of you for being here. And again, just reach out to me if you have any other questions, and feel free to sign up for the discovery call. We can work further. And great to see all of you. Thank you so much for showing up. And I will be talking to you all very soon. Thank you. It says it was very enlightening. Thank you so much. Great info. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, lovely people. Anything else I'm supposed to do? No, this is my first live, so I'm a little, out of practice, I guess. Yeah, I think we're good. And I will talk to you all later. Have a wonderful day. Take care.